before we get rolling with the Just Baseball show on Thursday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Dude, Cinco de Mayo came out of absolutely nowhere.
We had May the 4th yesterday, Cinco de Mayo today. Is May 6th anything?
I don't think so. May 7th is my mom's birthday. Happy early birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Jack's mother. We're rolling today.
Yeah. I was thinking before we get rolling with this, because we're going to do buy or sell on a couple things. Next time I'm in New York, I would love if you gave me a Dan Bellino hand massage. Are you in on doing that? So what that is
yeah, you're going to have to explain what a Dan Bellino hand massage is.
Yeah. So you take my hand and you check it for substances, but you look deep into my eyes until I say, fuck you.
That's doing that? The name of the umpire, isn't it? Who screwed over Madison Bumgarner.
Yes, it is. Dan Bellino.
You're so smart because you'll know umpires' names. Well, I'll understand the context, but now we're at this point where Madison Bumgarner got thrown out of a game. They were checking his hand. But the thing is, I mean, Dan Bellino, he's staring at him dead on and feeling his hand. And it's clear something was said from Bumgarner to the umpire before, and they were almost taking it out on him. And then he got pissed, said one thing, and then the first base umpire threw him out of the game. It was bullshit.
So if you ever hear the term ump show, that's exactly what ump show is. It's an umpire's show. And what happened there, Codify Pitching Ninja, Rob Friedman, Codify Michael Fisher, and a couple others out in the Twitter sphere did a really good job of piecing everything together as to like why this could happen. Because the original broadcast was you got like the side view and you got Bumgarner looking down at his hand, then looking up, then looking down at his hand, then looking up, and like all of a sudden getting tossed. It was like, what happened? And then you get another front view where you just see Bellino like staring deep into Madison Bumgarner's eyes until Bumgarner noticed and locked eyes with him. And that video, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it because I want you to suffer from the awkwardness that I suffered from watching that. That was one of the weirder videos that I've seen in recent memory. And then Codify backdated it a couple of pitches. And there were two pitches in that frame where Bumgarner took exception to a ball call, even though both pitches were outside the strike zone. Bumgarner thought they were strikes, yada, yada, yada. So I think that was Dan Bellino, who wasn't even the home plate umpire. He was the first base umpire, taking exception to Bumgarner taking exception, and then just deciding to make it the ump show and literally seeking confrontation with Mad Bum.
Don't you think that the players on the field are going to be a little bit more riled up about each decision that happens on the field? It's not personal. They're going to be mad if there's a ball call that they thought was a strike or vice versa. It's not personal. Don't take it personal, umpires. And with that said, we make fun of umpires all the time with Angel Hernandez and such, but there have been a few umpires who have been doing an amazing job. I'm seeing these umpire scorecards where it's one ball off out of 400 pitches in a game. Just unbelievable performances by some of these guys. Then on the other side, there's some of the biggest idiots in baseball just making it about them for no good reason. Because as we know, as baseball fans, the most thing that we want to see is the umpires.
Yeah, I promise you this is the last time I say this for at least 3 days, because I feel like I say this all the time. I am anti-robo ump. I am so anti-robotic ump. I am pro vetting process. I think you should have the good umpires come through minor league baseball and get promotions, and the bad ones not have an umpire job anymore.
Here's my take on the robo umpires. The robo umpires have to be absolutely perfect. No miscalls ever. I don't want it taking a bunch of time. I don't want replay. If there is a robot with a box and this is the strike zone, it obviously adjusts for height if Jose Altuve versus Aaron Judge, but it digitally shapes the strike zone and it misses 0 pitches and everything is perfect on the base pass. Give me robo umps. The moment we're dealing with technological issues, the moment we're still going to New York to hear the replay, the moment all this stuff is happening, I'm like, what are we doing here? It didn't solve any of the issues. It solved that one missed call that you might have gotten that never really made that much of a difference, and we wasted all this time. So give me robo-umps if it's perfect and seamless. If it's not, give me the people.
Call me a dinosaur. I just like the human element of that.
No, that's not a bad take either. I would never shy away or tell someone, oh, that's a bad take for just liking the traditional baseball, because at the end of the day, this is sport. It's supposed to be entertainment. It's supposed to be fun. It's not all serious.
Yeah, you wouldn't tell me LOL bozo GTFO loser.
Some would, and some will.
Actually, I'm actually the opposite of a dweeb if I say we shouldn't go to the robot umps, right? Does that work?
I think you're a dweeb either way. And exactly why you're a dweeb. Well, actually, this is kind of cool, but it is sort of dweeby. You are, no, it's not sort of dweeby. I tried to transition there.
Yeah, no, I can tell you're falling flat on your face. I think you got scratched up. You might have a bloody nose. You fell flat on your face.
I have been sick the past few days. I get a pass for the whole week. Talk to me about Luis Castillo and the fact that you are in Cincinnati.
I'm not in Cincinnati. I'm in Indy. Luis Castillo is a Louisville bat at the moment. Castillo just made a rehab start in Indy. It is his third and final rehab start of his MLB rehab assignment, or, that's what the Reds hope. So he made one with High A Dayton. He made one with Louisville, and then he just made his second with Louisville yesterday. And Castillo, I'm just going off the top of my head, 4 1/3, 3 hits, no earned runs, 7 punch outs, 2 walks, 76 pitches, 48 for strikes. So, take with that line what you will. What I will tell you is fastball velocity, he usually sits 97 with it. He was 93 to 94 with his fastball. Changeup, you don't look at changeup velocity often, but he usually sits 88 with that changeup. And, you dissect the hell out of Luis Castillo's changeup because it's the best changeup in baseball when it's on.
One of them.
Okay, one of them.
Devin Williams.
Yeah, that's good. But Castillo, he sits around 88 for his career with that changeup, and he was 84 to 85, maybe even 83 to 85 with the changeup. We know that he is a serial late starter, right? He's one of those guys that needs to get acclimated. And I can't speak to the velo. That might be a Colby Olson dive that I send him on in like front half, second half velos. But I do know last year, he was one of the worst starters in baseball through the front half of the year. And then after the All-Star break, he turned it on. First 19 starts of 2021, he had a 4.65 ERA. Last 14 starts of 2021, he had a 3.18 ERA. So I think this guy's going to be fine. He's going to join a Reds rotation that so badly needs him, especially after Lodolo went on the IL with a back thing. So Castillo, he was spotting his changeup well. His fastball was sailing on him at times. It was a little bit higher than he typically is. But all in all, he looked good.
They need him. They need him so badly. Jack, what if I told you that Tyler Mahle currently 7.01 ERA, worst in baseball? I was just on Not Gambling Advice talking him up a storm of how I think he's going to bounce back, and I don't buy, the bad start. And yet then he comes right back around and has another bad start. Nick Lodolo has been shaky to start. Hunter Green has been giving up the long ball. And then they got guys like San Martin back there. They have nobody right now. And as we're currently talking, they are 3-20, one of the worst starts in MLB history.
Yeah. We were just talking about the 1988 Baltimore Orioles. They started 0-21. And we just mentioned Cal Jr. was on that team, right? Cal Jr. was an all-star at that point. That was peak of Powers, Cal Ripken Jr. They fired Cal Sr. like 8 games into the season.
How terrible.
It takes a lot for you to fire the star player's family. But, that was where we were at with the 1988 Baltimore Orioles. We're not there. Raver San Martin is down with Louisville now. I have no idea how they're filling those starts, to be totally honest. You know who has been swinging a really good bat for Louisville, though, is Alberto Moro Jr.
I know. Well, we were talking pre-record about that. And I've always thought Alberto Moro Jr., he's fast. He's got a little bit of pop. He's got some bat to ball, and he can field really well. If you were to finally put it together, he's got 5-ish tools. It's just, can he unlock the hit and the power tool? Because that's the big thing.
We're kind of getting past the point of unlocking Alberto Moro Jr. And by kind of, we're about 5 years too late on unlocking Alberto Moro Jr.
I'm an optimist.
I know you shouldn't be. But tell you what, this guy, 4 plate appearances on Tuesday night. He put the first pitch of the plate appearance in play, and it had to be 95 plus exit velos each of those 3 times. So he went first pitch hunting, and he dialed in 3 hard hit baseballs on the first pitch of a plate appearance. I was like, you know what? This guy's just trying to swing it right now. And there's no point in keeping him down. Like, there's 0 point. Are you really opting for Tyler Naquin in this form over Alberto Moro? Because you shouldn't be.
Yeah, but see, I was trying to be optimistic. Maybe he'll crack, the team, or maybe, he'll play well. But you're over here being like, maybe he'll make the team. So how much more time should we really spend before we talk about buy or sell?
0. Let's talk about buy or sell. That's way more Reds talk than I was anticipating doing at this point.
It was plenty. I mean, they deserve it. They're a baseball team technically, but at some point,
we promised people all 30 teams, but I think in terms of power ranking, who we should be talking about, who we should be giving a little bit of time to, I think Oakland actually lies below Cincinnati for me. I think Oakland is the team that I want to talk about the least, and then Cincinnati is second to last at the moment.
Yeah, I'm down to really talk about everything. I'm down to talk about the Reds because there are some exciting aspects, but they're just with Oakland. Frankie Montas will be gone soon. Sean Murphy will be gone soon, and that's
Blackburn,
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith, right now. Pache.
All right, you ready to break into the first?
Yeah, let's do it. You want to go first or me first?
You go first.
Okay. I'm asking you to buy or sell the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox at this point are 10-14. They're 8 back of the Yankees, who are the hottest team on the face of the earth. The Red Sox have a bottom 10 team OPS in Major League Baseball. That's my big concern. Looking at the roster, looking at the starting rotation and opening up my MLB app and telling me that, whoever the hell is starting for them on a Thursday night, that tells me enough about the rotation. That tells me enough about the pitching staff. Again, Garrett Whitlock has been great. He starts tonight, or he started last night. But my thing with the Red Sox is you can't be bottom 10 in team OPS right now. You cannot be with that offense and that payroll all allocated to the offense. That's unacceptable. And I'm buying this down stretch for the Boston Red Sox.
I think you kind of answered the question when you asked the question. I think we're both buying the fact that this Red Sox pitching staff is not that good, especially without Chris Sale. But on the other side, Jack, we're not buying this offensive drudge. We're not buying a bottom 10 OPS team. This team will finish in the top 10 in OPS come the end of this season. I mean, Bobby Dalbec is hitting 147, 213 OBP, 235 slugging. Jackie Bradley Jr. is hitting 169. Christian Arroyo, even a guy who's great for them last year, 186. Kike Hernandez hitting 187. Trevor Story hitting 208. Christian Vasquez hitting 220. Alex Verdugo hitting 238. None of that will continue. All of those guys are going to be better. They're going to hit the summer months, and they're going to win a bunch in a row because they're going to have these months in June, July, where the bats get hot, where they're putting up 9 runs a game. They may give up 6, but they're going to be in the hunt at the end of the year. I am still thinking this is a Red Sox team that will be over 85.5 wins. That's what I had originally. I still do believe that. Their offense has not been good, but they haven't bottomed out. And the pitching hasn't been dreadful, certainly hasn't been good. But overall, I still do believe that this team at the end of the year will be in the hunt.
So without looking at the ERA number, do you have faith in Michael Wacha for 6 more months?
Of course not. But but he looks good.
He's got a 1.38 ERA through his first 5 starts.
That I assume will not last, but I don't think he's going to be the typical 5 ERA guy.
So the bullpen has been pretty solid thus far. Sawamura through 8 1/3 has 2 earned runs against him. Sawamura has been fine. Whitlock has been electric, and I fully anticipate Garrett Whitlock to continue being electric. But Eovaldi has been awesome. I think Eovaldi is going to be the one. I have no idea what Chris Sale is going to look like when he comes back. This is back-to-back. You're trying to work, mid-season back from an injury that hampered you and honestly kind of restricted you throwing at all. If it was a lower body thing or something along those lines, I would feel a lot better about Chris Sale than a rib thing. I mean, think about how hard that is to get back into throwing shape, trying to come back from a rib thing.
You know what I've been kind of thinking about, Jack? I'm so done doubting these, I guess, the all-time greats that are in baseball right now. Not all-time greats, but we know who I'm talking about, like Verlander, Kershaw, Chris Sale, guys like this coming back from injury. Yeah. They all look phenomenal. Chris Sale is eating at the bit to come back to that Fenway mound. When he comes back, just like he did when he came back from the first injury, it took him a little bit to get going, but we saw vintage Chris Sale in the playoffs. We're going to see vintage Chris Sale again. I don't think this rib injury makes Chris Sale this 3.54 ERA guy. He's still going to be Chris Sale. I wouldn't be surprised if when he comes back, he has an ERA under 3 for the rest of the season. It's still Chris freaking Sale.
We'll see. What I will say is you've got Sale and Evaldi. It's the same conversation you can have with my White Sox right now, right? Cease and Kopech look great. Where's everybody else? And Giolito looks pretty solid too, but the White Sox at the moment are forfeiting, granted Vince Velasquez looked fine his last time out, but you look at 40% of the starts and you're like, gosh, I really don't feel good about this game whatsoever. For the Red Sox, I don't know how I feel about Houck as a long-term starter. I've got no idea. I think he's more built as a swingman type. Pivetta looks terrible. He looks full-blown terrible.
That I was wrong on. I thought Pivetta would be good this year. He has not been good. Maybe he bounces back, but I agree. The stuff doesn't look the same. The curveball doesn't have the same bite. He does not look the same.
No, he doesn't look that good. I have no faith in Waka continuing this crazy 5-start run that he's on. And then Rich Hill's a 3.70 ERA guy at the moment. I think that actually gets higher. It's hard for me to buy into this rotation. And if I was Chaim Bloom, I was thinking, damn, I wish I got one good guy as opposed to 3 mediocre guys, and Paxton, who's still on the shelf, and Hill and Waka.
Dick Walkton. The Dick Walkton experience
underwhelming
so far. Rich Hill and Michael Waka have been great. The Dick Walkton experience so far has not been underwhelming. It's been great so far, but more like we elongated over a full season. What is it truly going to look like? I don't know. I think Michael Waka could have a good season. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility that he could. Well, we're not talking a 1.4 ERA, but if he had a 3.8 ERA at the end of the year and Rich Hill had a 3.8 ERA, and then it's like these guys aren't great, but they're not bad, and the offense should pick up. Jack, I just do not want to count the Red Sox out. I still think they're going to go over 85.5. I still have my bet down, and I still like it.
I thought the Red Sox were going to be, the type of team that feeds off of an ALCS finish and runs with it. And they have looked opposite that. So those are my thoughts. That's why I think the Red Sox, might be a 500 team, might be a couple games below that. So those are my thoughts. Who's your first team we want to buy or sell on?
So I instead of teams, because Jack gave me some teams, I'm doing more divisions, and then we're both going to break into players. So we got a little bit of everything here. Yeah. I'm going to talk about an entire division. Jack, buy or sell the AL West finishes the same way it is right now. Right now. The Angels are in first place.
Yeah.
The Astros are in second place. The Mariners are in third place. The A's are in fourth place. And the Rangers are in fifth place. Do you think the division finishes exactly like it is right now?
I do. God, that was hard. That was hard.
Right? It's hard. It's such a hard question because in reality, you threw the Angels, Mariners, and Astros, just throw them at a wall and then order them in whatever way you want. Unless you have Mariners 1, Angels 2, Astros 3, that's maybe not. But you can make a lot of different combinations of those, and I wouldn't say that you're off.
So we were joking about Paul Blackburn before we got into buy or sell. That's one guy that is a decent pitcher. I can't find one decent pitcher for Texas. Yeah. So
John Gray.
Who?
John Gray is decent. He's not pitching like it. I'll give you that.
He's not pitching like it.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, so
you know who's pitching better than decent right now? Martin Perez.
Yeah, he had a perfect start for a little bit there. And Glenn Otto through 2 starts has a 2.89 ERA, but John Gray's got a 7.5 ERA.
Glenn Otto ain't bad. He came over in the deal for Joey Gallo. That deal that the Rangers got for Gallo, they gave away 4 prospects. We'll see how well that trade does for the Yankees.
Yeah, for sure. Semien looks terrible, right? Semien's played 23 games and he's hitting $163 with a 450 OPS.
That was my biggest surprise when I was talking with Arm. That was my biggest surprise of the season so far, that Marcus Semien has been so anemic at the plate. And I don't know if you've done like a super deep dive on Marcus Semien, but I did. And there's nothing that's even pointing to, oh, he's getting unlucky, or, oh, he's hitting the ball really hard, but he's not finding the alleyways, or he's playing a really good defensive shortstop, but the bat's not coming around. The defense isn't good. He's not putting the ball in the air. He's got 0 power, no bat to ball. Everything looks putrid. Not to say that Marcus Semien cannot come back and be great, but you're talking about a guy who finished top 3 in MVP voting, set the record for home runs for second baseman, is now a bottom 10 in WRC plus in all of baseball for all hitters that qualify. There are so many hitters on the Diamondbacks right now.
Yeah. Thing with Semien, So last year, his average exit velo was 89.7. This year, it's 84.9. It's all soft contact. He's got the highest ground ball rate that he's had in quite a little bit. Highest ground ball rate since 2019. He's got the lowest walk rate since 2018. This guy is like, I feel him pressing, right? Do you almost see him gripping the bat a little bit tighter than he should be?
Aram thought he could be battling through an injury.
He might be.
Because you watch him, he does not look right. That's the thing. He doesn't look right. And then the numbers aren't telling me anything that my eyes are missing. So when my eyes are like, this guy looks like crap, then the production numbers, like the home runs, all those production numbers, they're not good. And then the advanced numbers that could tell us a different story, they're not good either.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yeah. So I don't think Simeon's 100% because Simeon, like last year, you saw him in the box and it was like, all right, you should fear him. You don't have the fear factor with Simeon right now. And, that might just be knowing the numbers coming into an at bat, but also just the posturing. It doesn't look like you should be fearing Marcus Semien. So I do think that Oakland finishes above Texas. I think Seattle is clear cut the third best team in that division. I don't think that they are better than Houston or Anaheim.
I know. We were hoping Brash would take a next step
Can't
earlier.
Throw strikes.
Can't throw strikes. The stuff is disgusting.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if you can't throw strikes.
Exactly. And that's the problem that the Mariners are dealing with right now. So he will not take the next step up probably this year. I still think he's going to be a pitcher in their rotation one day, but maybe not this year. Logan Gilbert looks like.
Gilbert, this is obviously the sub 1 ERA is fluky, but I don't think sub 3 would be fluky at all for Logan Gilbert this year.
I don't think so either.
Gilbert's the guy. Allow me for a moment to dance on your ashes about the Robbie Ray thing. Is that fair?
It is fair because look at his savant age.
Dude, so you and Aram were all the way bought in on Robbie Ray. I'm telling you, I'm a huge awards guy. I love my awards. So we were just talking about that. I am all for a Cy Young, and I'm here to call Robbie Ray a Cy Young winner. But here's the thing. That's the only good year of his career. He was an all-star once before that, and he was an all-star when he was walking everybody and striking everybody out. And he was named an all-star because he struck everybody out. But this guy, I don't think is legitimate living on the corners of the strike zone. I think he throws strikes. He's got some control. He's got zero command. And this guy, I genuinely believe that the Mariners are going to be looking at this contract that they just signed him to in 5 years and saying, damn, that was a bad deal. That was a knee-jerk reaction from us.
Let me hold the brakes slightly because I understand 4.15 ERA. His baseball savant is as blue as possible. But can I say one thing? Is
Sure.
Robbie Ray right now? Seriously, because you look at his pitches, Jack. He was averaging 95 miles an hour on his fastball last year. Right now, 92.5. Slider, almost 89 miles an hour. This year, 86.4. The curveball's even dropped 5 miles an hour in velocity. Spin is down. Is he fully healthy? Because this doesn't even look like the Robbie Ray of last year. For example, if we saw Robbie Ray throw a 94, 95 again, 96 sometimes, but just location is off, and then I'm like, okay, Robbie Ray's back. But I don't know if Robbie Ray is fully healthy considering he doesn't even look like the same pitcher. I don't think anybody could have predicted that he would drop about 2 to 3 miles an hour on his fastball and every single other one of his pitches would drop in velo and spin. I didn't see that happening.
So I saw the same thing with Bieber. You look at Bieber's pitcher list and you see that his fastball velo is down, his slider velo is down, fastball and slider spin are both down. But he works around it. I think Shane Bieber is a lot more talented than Robbie Ray is.
But we knew that.
Yeah, we knew that. And we know that Bieber can bounce back from that and he can work around that. I don't know if Robbie Ray's 100%. I don't know why he wouldn't be 100%, I would say. So I just have to assume full health. And what I see with Robbie Ray is he's walking guys at a 3% higher clip than he was last year. And I told you this command was not there to stay. He was at a 6.7 walk rate last year. He's at a 9.6 walk rate this year. And this is a 10% career walk rate guy. And then his average exit velo, by the way, also up 2 miles an hour from his previous high. The severity of contact higher than it's ever been.
objectively worse.
Yes.
So I'm saying, give him a month. Then you can dance on our ashes mid-season.
I'm putting because my also foot there.
Did I ever? What do you think my opinion was of Robbie Ray? Because are you saying that I think he could win another Cy Young? Do you think I said that he could repeat 2.8? I said I don't think he's an ERA over 4 guy or even ERA over 5 guy like he was at one point. I thought he was a 3.7 ERA guy. And so I'm
Did you?
I think I was 3.5 to 3.7.
I think you and Aram said low 3s. Yeah, I think you and Aram said low 3s, and I said no way.
We're going to go back and look at that. I think I was 3.5 to 3.7 in that range.
I think he's a 4 ERA guy.
Expected ERA 3.96.
Oh, she's so a 4 ERA guy. There we go. We're rounded.
I just wanted to throw that to you. But we spent so much time on Mariners, A's.
Yeah. So
Angels.
The reason I think Anaheim stays above Houston, I think Anaheim starting pitching is exceptional. I think the tandem of Syndergaard and Michael Lorenzen right now with Patrick Sandoval looking as good as he is, that trio at the top. And oh, by the way, you have Shohei Ohtani, who's making his way, through some stuff on the mound right now. I think the pitching is as good as it's been in a decade. And Mike Trout, he's still on the field. As long as Mike Trout's still on the field, the Angels can make the postseason and they can win the AL West.
How about the bullpen? How about the bullpen looking
Lupin
awesome?
Tepera.
Yeah. And Archie Bradley has even been technically a pitcher. I mean, of course, you got Ross Taylor Iglesias at the back end, carving fools. Yeah, I agree. I love the Angels. I was on the if not now, when. I've been this whole thing. Why not now? I mean, you have the full team. And even a guy like Taylor Ward has taken this huge step forward. He's leading off the Angels, hitting bombs for them. Overall, the Angels are really freaking good. And as soon as you're dancing on my ashes about Robbie Ray, I'm dancing on yours about the Angels.
So the only reason I think that the Astros have a fighting chance is because of the rotation. I think Framber Valdez is as elite a ground ball guy as we have right now. It's Framber and Logan Webb, and that's the end of the list in terms of best ground ball guys in baseball at the moment. And then Verlander looks great.
Don't forget Gausman.
What?
Don't forget Gausman.
Oh, Gausman. Yeah. No, you're right. Gosman's striking out a billion guys.
Fucking good, dude. He's so good.
He hasn't walked anybody
yet. Good. I love that he was good because all these TikTok comments like Kevin Gausman's going to be terrible, Robbie Ray's going to be terrible. I'm like, why do you guys think they're all going to be terrible again?
Listen, I only chose one of them to say.
I know.
I said Gausman was good. I
thought both of them were going to be a little bit worse. Maybe I said worse about. Maybe I thought they were going to be a little bit worse than last year, but still both really good pitchers.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I was way higher on Gausman than I was Robbie Ray. So I love that Kevin Gausman has proven me right here. But I think that Framber Valdez is one of the best ground ball guys in baseball.
No doubt.
Verlander looks great, obviously. Amazing. Luis Garcia.
What about my hot take? Verlander could win a Cy Young?
He absolutely could win a Cy Young.
Remember when I said that? I was laughed out of the room.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I get laughed out of the room for a lot of my takes that end up working, huh?
I think we laughed you out of the room because you walked it back immediately. You were like, he could maybe possibly kind of win a Cy Young, like half of one. He could co-win a Cy Young.
I did not use, I used the first 3 words you said, not the kind of half. I didn't use any of that. I cut you off at that 3 words. That's what I did.
He sort of kind of maybe could win a Cy Young. And we said, you know what? Stand behind it. But yeah, Verlander looks like the guy. Offensive reinforcements I just don't think they're as deep as Anaheim right now. But I want to go to my next guy because Yordan Alvarez, I think has transformed into one of the best hitters in baseball. I'm buying this OPS north of 1,000 that he's got right now. I'm buying that he's top 5 in the league in bombs at the moment. And I'm buying that this dude's approach. I said this with Aram. I'll say it again. This dude has shades of Triple Crown Miggy at the plate because of the approach, because of the ability to hit the ball to all fields. He is, I was watching Sportsnet. I was watching the Blue Jays broadcast when Houston was in Toronto. And they said, don't be fooled. This guy's one of the best powder hitters in baseball, but he's also one of the best hitters in baseball.
Yeah.
This dude's approach on a pitch by pitch basis through the duration of an at bat is next level. It's something that not many people replicate. And I think this guy is going to be one of the better hitters in baseball, a la Miggy at the peak of his powers in Detroit, where he can hit 30 to 35 bombs. I think Yordan can hit 40 to 45, and he can also hit 280 with a 370 OBP and have an OPS north of 1,000.
So we better buy him because we've done two things with Yordan Alvarez. And one of them, and the latter one, I think maybe was wrong. The first one, at the beginning of last season, when we first started the podcast, one of the first hot takes we had, Yordan Alvarez will be a Hall of Famer. 500 home runs, could hit 280 for his career. Like that kind of hitter.
Yeah.
Yordan Alvarez, we still think we're riding, will be a Hall of Famer one day. But the second one was more recent. Jack, we called him the second best DH. He's probably the best DH in baseball over Shohei.
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
And I think we felt obligated to put Shohei as one because we couldn't.
I mean, how could you not?
Right. Like you're not allowed to put together top 10 positional rankings and not have Shohei as one on either of them because he's the best player in baseball, but he does both. He's not the best DH. He's not the best starting pitcher because Yordan Alvarez is the best DH in baseball. And Yordan through 19 games has 18 hits, 8 of which being bombs, 14 RBIs. Here's what I love the most. 11 walks and 13 punchouts.
I buy every single bit of it. We're on the exact same page. We don't even need to dive that much more deep into it.
How about
we have been just preaching the Yordan Alvarez train since he became a player.
How about this? Yordan played 2 games in 2020, so it doesn't count that his average exit velo is 98.6. He played 87 games in 2019, average exit velo in 92.8. He played 144 games last year, average exit velo in 93.0. 19 games so far this year, 96.1 miles an hour off his bat on average. 96.1.
He's one of the best left-handed hitters in the American League.
He's one of the best left-handed hitters in baseball.
Yep. That's where we're at. Kind of cool.
Soto and Yordan.
I'll move on to my next one. More buy or sell, and this is to the NL West. Buy or sell, does the NL West finish exactly how it is now? Dodgers number 1, Padres number 2, Giants number 3, Rockies number 4, Diamondbacks number 5. Do you think the Padres finish above the Giants?
Yeah, that's the only question here.
It really is the question.
Because the Rockies are better than the Diamondbacks, but they're not better than San Francisco or San Diego. And the Dodgers are the best team in baseball.
Both of the last one, it was more who do you think is going to win the AL West, Astros or Angels? And in this one, who do you think is going to finish second, Padres or Giants?
God, it's hard. It's hard to have dead air. It's
to
have dead air on a podcast, right?
No, I like the silence sometimes because it's thinking. We're talking so much. When it goes silent for a second, we are thinking. It's a tough decision.
Yeah, if you guys are SpongeBob people, if you know like the 2 wires trying to touch in Patrick's brain, like that's kind of what's going on with me at the moment. I would say I'm buying it. I think San Diego finishes above San Francisco.
I will never bet against San Francisco ever. I think they might win the division too.
God, no, they won't.
They won't.
No
but
shot.
I think the Padres are really good. But we've seen this story before, right? Didn't the Padres get off to a hot start last year, if I'm not mistaken? But this is without Tatis. So that's something to note. And I think, oh no, go ahead.
No, and it's without Clevenger and Snell. And Clevenger's back as of last night, and Snell just carved through high A, and he's on his way back.
Clevenger looked pretty good in his first start against his old team too in the Cleveland Guardians. So you would expect first start on the road, hasn't pitched in 2 years against his former team. No, he shoved them down. And it's funny, the Guardians are one of the best offenses in baseball in terms of how many runs they've scored this year. I was very pleased with what I saw with Mike Clevenger. And I'm just in the boat where the Giants have proved it and the Padres have not yet. So I'm going to say that the Giants finished second and the Padres finished third, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Padres so far.
Yeah, I called that matchup Dickhead Derby. It was Clevenger and Plesac. Felt very good about that alliteration for me. I'm buying what I see from them as well. And then I want to go over Rodon's line real quick. Rodon in a loss to the Dodgers, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned, 3 punchouts in 6 innings and 2 walks in 6 innings. Did you watch that outing? That was Rodon and Urias going head to head.
It's funny. I don't know if you saw my text in the group chat this morning. I fell asleep. I think it was around the 3rd inning, laptop on, Giants Dodgers watching it, just passed out. So wasn't actually able to see the full start, but I watched the first couple innings. You didn't, what are you getting at?
He was missing some spots.
Yeah. Didn't look great on the road against the best offense in baseball. He was
missing upstairs with curveballs.
But that's how good Rodon is against the best offense in baseball. He can go six strong, 2 runs against the best offense in baseball, dude.
When he doesn't have his best stuff.
That's how good Carlos Rodon is.
Yeah. I don't think he had his best stuff.
But you're right.
Yeah. You know who I'm in on, though, is Jock Peterson. I think Jock is legit. I'm very excited that San Francisco grabbed him. I was going to be super excited if Cleveland grabbed him because I think Jock Peterson in Cleveland would have been perfect for that offense. But Jock Peterson in San Francisco somehow makes more sense.
Makes so much sense. He's been so good. And all the advanced numbers, all the counting numbers, everything looks great. His swing looks good. Everything just looks good with Jock Peterson right now. I know he's on the shelf. He's dealing with something. I don't know if it was COVID. I know the Giants had a huge COVID outbreak. That's also been the problem. Like
Cleveland.
You look at their lineup on a day-to-day basis with the Giants, and you think to yourself, oh, there's nobody in the lineup. Crawford's on the lineup. Belt's normally not in the lineup, but they still win. They're so good, Jack. They will continue to win, and I still think they're going to finish second in the NL West.
Yeah, interesting. Speaking of which, Julio Urias is the next guy that I want to buy or sell right now.
Okay.
Because we were just talking about that outing. Rodon, 6 innings, a 2-run ball. Urias in that game, 6 innings, a shutout ball. He had 4 hits against him, struck out just 4, no walks, though. Urias is throwing strikes more than pretty much anybody in baseball. And he's been doing so since the start of last year. That's why he's a 20-game winner. I love my awards. I love my 20-game winners. But Urias, he pounds the zone. He doesn't get many swings and misses, but when he does get contact, it's soft contact. And he was getting barreled up a little bit at the early goings of 2 nights ago start.
Kind of, not crazy, but yes.
Not crazy, but he was getting hit a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the way that Urias gets through outings is elite. And I think Urias has taken the next step.
I agree. I mean, we think he's a top 10 pitcher in baseball, no doubt. And one of the better ones, and will most likely take higher leaps into the top 5 one day. He's one of the best left-handed pitchers in baseball, and he outdueled Carlos Rodon. Yes, it was at home. Yes, the Dodgers have a better lineup. And we ranked Julio Urias number 9, and we ranked Carlos Rodon number 10. So that kind of ended up working out a little bit, at least in the short term.
Dude, that Dodgers Giants series for the next couple of years, when you see Rodon versus Urias or Buehler versus Webb or something like that, I mean, there are some pitching matchups where you just see the headshots and you're like, wow, I'm in for a doozy tonight. Let's go. That's what I feel. That's what I felt when I saw Rodon and Urias. And it's been a little bit since I felt that.
What about Alex Wood, Tony Gonsolin?
I'm good. No thanks. I appreciate the offer.
It's funny, but both of them in their own right are pretty good. How about I'll buy or sell something for you, because I think Julio Urias is absolutely top 10, no doubt, and will be making his way into the top 5. Yeah. I have to ask you about another guy, Jack. And this is again back in San Diego, and we didn't really talk about him, but I really wanted to talk about him because right now he's the best player in baseball. Yeah. Are you buying a Manny Machado MVP? Because he's leading the league in average. He's leading the league in hits. He's got a bunch of home runs. He's playing great defense. Everything about Manny Machado right now screams, this is the MVP season. And I'm not buying to say that, oh, yes, he's now my MVP pick. But how can he not be my MVP pick right now? Do you think he's going to finish top 3 in NL MVP this year, or do you think he's going to slow down?
You're asking the awards guy. I do think he's going to finish top 3 in NL MVP voting. I think that this guy has been due for a season like this for a while. And Machado so far this year, he's got 33 hits in 23 games. That's ridiculous. Dude's hitting 375 with an OPS just over 1,000. He is a career 280 hitter. Last year, he hit 278 with an 836 OPS. And that was 28 bombs, 106 driven in. This guy, the power numbers are not necessarily there right now. Only 4 bombs for his first 23 games, but he's driven in 16. My thing with Machado is the way that he impacts games in multiple ways. And if I had to pick an NL MVP at this moment in time, it's Machado. Mm-hmm. Now, whose meteoric start to the year do I buy a little bit more? I buy Nolan Arenado's a little bit more than I buy Manny Machado's. And I think
I'm on the other side.
Interesting. Yeah, I think Nolan, if the Cardinals win the division, I think Nolan's the MVP. But I think if both teams finish second in the division, it's going to be a toss-up. I still think that Nolan Arenado is going to have the better statistical season at the end of the year.
See, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to have the better statistical year because I think Manny Machado could hit 300. Manny Machado's got 5 home runs already, 4 steals. He's fast. And Manny Machado is just as, maybe a tad worse, but just as good of a defender, really. And right now he's in the 98th percentile and outs above average. I think that statistically speaking, offensively, Manny Machado will have a better year than Nolan Arenado. And I think the Padres will then have a better record than the Cardinals as well. And I think Manny Machado could be your NL MVP. But then again, Juan Soto is going to get hot again. And then we're going to have a Juan Soto summer where he has an OBP of 700.
Yes.
Then it's going to be like, we forgot about that guy in Washington. But then again, Washington, we'll see how they end up.
Yeah, we'll see how they end up. And we'll see what Philly does because Bryce Harper has not had an MVP type start to the year. Arenado has more doubles, more homers, more RBIs, and a higher OPS than Machado.
Yeah, but how many more of those things? Because you say more, it's like, what does he have, 6 home runs a man?
Not much, but small sample size. Like I'm saying,
size.
They're comparable starts. I don't think
Absolutely.
Machado is the runaway NL guy right now. And I don't think Arenado's runaway. I think those two are neck and neck right now. And I'm Team Nolan, you're Team Manny.
I just think it's sick that they're both doing it.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's so cool that they're both doing it. Do you have any more buy or sell? Because I know I have one more.
I've got one more. It's a team. I've got Atlanta. I don't know how to feel. Like, I genuinely don't know how to feel. I wanted to kick it to you because Atlanta's 12-15 at the moment. Mm-hmm. They're 4th in the NL East. They're not going to finish 4th in the NL East. But I don't know if this team can win the World Series as currently constructed.
I think they can, because I think they just have to make it
last year.
Because they did it last year. And I think if you give me a healthy Charlie Morton at the end of the year with Max Fried and Ian Anderson, you give me that bullpen.
And Kyle Wright.
Kyle Wright. Exactly. You give me Kyle Wright as well. This team is almost built for the postseason. Remember, they won 88 games in the regular season last year. This is not a team really built for the regular season, weirdly. You know, they're bullpen focused. Their rotation is good. It's not crazy elite. I mean, now with Kyle Wright, it's pretty damn good. Yeah. But they've also, I mean, there's been guys on offense who haven't been doing anything at all. Guys like Ozzie Albies has not had a great start. Even Marcell Ozuna started off really hot, has cooled off. Adam Duvall is almost unusable at this point. Ronald Acuna Jr. is hitting 200. And, you know, the only guy who's really been great for them is Austin Riley. And Austin Riley is just freaking elite. And that's
Matt
why
Olson has been
great.
really good.
Matt Olson has been really good. 295, 404, 505 slugging. He's been really good. So him, and you're right, I forgot about him. Olson and Riley have really been good. The rest of the team, not as much.
But let's look at the lineup as constructed.
Darno's been great too.
Darno's been great offensively.
Yes.
Defensively, he's not good.
Yeah.
My thing is, you know, I look at this lineup and I see the most top-heavy lineup in baseball at the moment. And, you know, we were saying that about Anaheim when they were fully healthy, you know, for the last couple of years, right? Because you got Trout, Ohtani, Rendon, and then after that, it falls off a cliff.
Yeah.
With Atlanta, Austin Riley, Acuna, obviously, Olson, and Albies is one of the better pairings of 4 bats that you'll find in Major League Baseball right now. But I don't think Ozuna is as good as the start indicated. I think d'Arnaud is going to fall off just a teensy bit, and I don't think d'Arnaud provides enough defensive value as a catcher. I don't think Dansby Swanson's going to have a good offensive year at all. And then you've got guys like Adam Duvall and Eddie Rosario and Orlando Arcia and Heredia. Like, there are not enough complementary pieces to the 4 big bats anymore.
But the bullpen is still elite. Come playoff time, I mean, this team has to make the playoffs. It's funny. A team that has to make the playoffs, the feeling is that during the regular season, they might be on the brink. But I think when postseason time comes, they're going to be the team that we should jump on and be like, don't forget about the Braves. Because remember, not only did they win in 2021, in 2020, they were almost in the World Series 2 against the Dodgers. This is another team that until they prove me otherwise, I'm not going to go against them.
And we know that Ian Anderson looks like Pedro Martinez during the postseason. So
Max Fried and Morton, and then Kyle Wright if he's on.
That's the thing. I don't know when they're going to turn it on. When did they turn it on?
What, Kyle Wright?
No, when did the Braves turn it on?
The offense has to get going. The offense just hasn't gotten going yet. They have 2 hitters in their lineup who are hitting as they should be. Travis d'Arnaud is another guy who's hitting above his pay grade right now, but it's not like he's impacting. I mean, he has 2 home runs, he has 5 doubles. He has 14 Ks in 67 at bats. So he's been striking out a lot too.
Dude, slapping singles left and right, baby.
Yeah. Riley and Olsen have been great. The rest of the offense has not been. I don't think that will continue. I am still buying the Braves as a playoff team, and a dangerous one at that once they get in. But will they get in?
Yeah, I'm worried they don't get in.
That's the thing. I still do think they will be in the wild card because I think the Mets are going to win the division. But I think the Braves will be in it. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. One more from you, right?
One more for me. And this is, I want to ask you. You just threw it over me. I want to ask you. Michael Kopech looks awesome.
Yeah.
I saw him in his last start. He's 96, 97. He's got 100th percentile dog in him. I mean, he does. But what are we looking at here? We're looking at a really handsome dude who's just, and he's just right there.
Use your words. Use your words.
If you're watching over YouTube, he's like right there, and then he's just like, right. Yeah, he's like that. And then Dylan Cease is one of the best pitchers in the American League. He threw 7 shutout against the Angels, struck out 11, only gave up 1 hit. And one of my favorite moments of the season so far was Dylan Cease struck out Mike Trout on a pitch low and away. It was like a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Trout swung through it, looked at the catcher's glove, looked at Dylan Cease, and Jack gave him this face. Whoa, what was that? And that's coming from Mike Trout. I know we buy Dylan Cease as a great pitcher.
Yes.
My question is, do you buy Dylan Cease as an AL Cy Young, and do you buy Michael Kopech as that 3 that the White Sox need? I know Lance Lynn is coming back, but that pivotal guy behind Giolito and Cease.
I do. I buy Cease as a Cy Young winner. I think that the 2.48 ERA is going to pretty much stay put. And the dude is punching out 12 guys per 9. That's what Cease is going to do because he's got the grossest stuff in baseball. Again, when Arm and I had Michael Fisher, the founder of Codify, on, I simply asked him, because usually you like doing like the frilly intro to questions, but when you know exactly what you're going to ask, you keep it short. And I said, how good can Dylan Cease be? And he just started laughing because like everybody knows he's got the nastiest stuff you've ever seen. So that's what Cease is. Cease is 12 Ks per 9 and a 2.48 ERA. Kopech is not a 1.17 ERA. Kopech is not,
it's hard.
I don't know. It's hard.
It's a hard question because it's early.
I do think Kopech is, I was going to say he's not a sub-3 ERA guy, and I do strongly believe that. I don't think he's a over 3.5 ERA guy. I think he's a low 3s ERA guy, and I think that's exactly what you need from a 3.
See, I thought you might have asked me, what do you think is ERA? I was going to say 3.5. I think he's a 3.5 ERA guy. He might be lower than that, but I think he's a
3.3.
Yeah, he might be in that range with 9 to 10 strikeouts per game per 9, and it's interesting. I've been really impressed with him, just like his bravado on the mound. He looks like a starter. Yeah. I guess that was the main thing. He has made this leap from bullpen guy to swingman to starter, and he looks like a starter, and I'm so happy for him because when he's on, he is entertaining as shit. I mean, he's right at you. He's a younger, skinnier Lance Lynn in the way that he goes at people. It's dogging him 100th percentile.
And I know that everybody knows that Kopech has just been through this shit, like just opted out. Tommy John, that he opted out of 2020 for, he was mentally not there whatsoever. So now he's come back and he's worked back from a swingman role where he was elite. And, there were questions like, are you so good in your current job that you can't move him to the starting rotation? Things like that. But Kopech looks great in the starting rotation. I think a lot of these numbers keep in place. I think a whip just over 1 holds. I think 9 punch outs per 9 holds. Unfortunately, I think 4.5 walks per 9 also holds. But this guy hits per 9, 5.1. That's the thing. Not a lot of hits, a lot of walks for a starter. So he's not going to go as deep into games as
like Cease.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Cease is turning it up a notch. Cease is
exactly, but like kind of like old Cease.
Old Cease,
like
yes.
Last year Cease.
He's got to go through the acclimation process like Cease did, and Cease is just a little bit farther ahead because Kopech had to, miss 2 years. So, I think Kopech is good. My big concern with the White Sox right now is the offense, because the offense sucks.
Look at the lineup. What is this lineup they're putting out there? I mean, no, it seems like nobody good's in it.
Are you going to get on me for Leury Garcia in the 3-hole again?
Yeah, of course I am. It's another Ruben Odor situation with the Yankees.
Yeah, so we just had that brought up on the State of the Division podcast. By the way, that's the new pod. Think of it as the New York Times Daily podcast, where we put it out, every day. And we've got the link in the episode description there. But Ryan Miller, who I do the AL Central with, asked me, what's up with Leury Garcia in the 3-hole?
Very reasonable question.
I don't fucking know, dude. I called
like
Tony
Gavin
LaRussa.
Sheets and Engel and Berger. Who are these people? I mean, they actually can perform a little bit, but it's just it seems like from 4 to 9, there's no thump.
Luis Robert has had a down 15 games to start the year. So Luis Robert's going to be good. Yohan Moncada is finishing up a rehab assignment with Charlotte right now. He'll be up. Tim Anderson looks great. Andrew Vaughn looks exceptional at the moment.
He's awesome.
Everybody else can get out of my sight. Jose Abreu. Abreu has earned my trust. Everybody else can get out of my sight right now.
When you lost Eloy, that was tough.
Uh-huh.
That was tough.
You're right, Peter. You're so
Sorry,
right.
Man.
God.
I think that'll do it for this episode. I think we bought and sold enough stuff.
Yeah, I am. I'm about to go to a concert by myself. Is that socially acceptable?
I would say that it is socially acceptable. I say we're at the age right now where if you do it and it makes you happy, society can suck it.
It's going to make me happy. I'm going to go get a cocktail, and I'm going to post up, and I'm going to watch Leon Bridges perform, and I'm going to leave promptly after the show is over. And I don't need to worry about what anybody else wants to do after the show. This is an adult move for me, and I'm proud of myself for the growth that I'm making.
I'm proud of you too.
Thanks. Plug all the socials, man. Just go ahead.
Give us a follow on TikTok and Instagram at Just Baseball Fans, and of course on Twitter at Just BB Media. Check out Loop. That is our partner. They're giving us sports cards. They're doing all the breaks on the Loop app. Get that in the episode link description as well.
And use that link.
Download that app. Use that link to download so they know that we sent you. Join our group chat in Chalkboard. That link is also in the episode description as well. And of course, you can find all of our written work at justbaseball.com. It's almost the weekend.
Yeah, hooray weekend. We're handing out some niche awards right on tomorrow. You, me, and Aram.
Niche awards. It's been so opening day was April 7th. On Friday will be May 6th. We're giving out our Just Baseball awards for the first month. And I think with that, thank you, everybody.